And once again, we welcome you back into Virgil Fletcher Gymnasium here on the campus of Collinsville High School. I am Todd Duke, Zach Roseman along, operating the scoreboard and the camera here for us on Championship Day. One game already in the books, the 7th place game. That was won by Decatur MacArthur by a score of 64-52. Over in the auxiliary gym, Oakville defeated Hansberry Prep out of Chicago 72-40. So Oakville and Hansberry Prep already on their way back to their respective schools as we speak. Decatur MacArthur and Edwardsville getting ready to do the same as well. We get you set for this 5th place game between East St. Louis and Granite City. East St. Louis comes in with an overall record now of 9-4 after their win yesterday, against Edwardsville. And Granite City, they defeated Decatur MacArthur yesterday, and they will play the East St. Louis Flyers today, and Granite City comes in with a record of 8-4. Let's take a look at some of the stats here in this tournament for these two teams. As far as scoring offense is concerned, East St. Louis is 6th out of the 16 teams, averaging 66 points a game here. Granite City is 8th behind East St. Louis, just 2 spots at 56.3. As far as defense is concerned, Granite City 7th out of the 16 teams, allowing 53.7, while East St. Louis is allowing 55.7, and that puts them in the 9th spot out of these 16 teams. Individually, as far as points scored are concerned, Terrence Hargrove for East St. Louis is in 4th place on this list, behind, of course, Terrian Maddox, who leads all players with 67 points. Hargrove has 53. He is averaging 17.7 points per game. Other numbers to look at, the 3-point line has Christian Jones of Granite City in 9th place. He is at 7 of 16, and Cornelius LaFleur of East St. Louis is in the number 12 spot, having hit 6 of 20. From the free throw line, Devontae Mason of Granite City is 3rd in this tournament, having hit 13 of 14, while Zidane Moore, his teammate, is 5th, having hit 16 of 18, and then Terrence Hargrove is 11th in free throws, having hit 15 of 21. Of course, you'll remember the one that he didn't make right at the end of that game against Rockford East. That ended up taking the teams to overtime, and Rockford East ended up coming out on top of that one. As far as the defensive side of things concerned, Terrence Hargrove leads all players in this tournament in the rebound category. He has taken down 33 of them. He is averaging 11 per game. And assists, Zidane Moore is 4th on the list in this tournament, having assisted on 13 helpers, and that's good for 4.3 per game. Blocked shots, Hargrove, number 2 on the list, behind Caden Lowry, who we just saw down here on the floor for Decatur MacArthur. Hargrove has 7 blocked shots in this game. He's averaging about 2.3 per game. And as far as the longevity and the minutes, well, Zidane Moore is 3rd on the list. He has played 30.3 minutes, actually ties him with Keon Jones of Decatur MacArthur, and number 1 on the list is from Belleville East. We'll see them in the next game. Isaiah May has averaged the most minutes in this game. He is in this tournament. He's played 94 minutes and has an average of 31.3 minutes per game. We'll take a break, come back, and give you the starting lineups. We'll do that here in just a moment on the Kahoks Sports Network.
Mike's Automotive in Collinsville. Mike's Automotive is a T3 certified tire center, and they can handle all of the basics, like oil changes and tune-ups, and the not-so-basic stuff, like complete engine rebuilds. Mike's Automotive also has 24-hour towing and has 3 locations, Millstadt, St. Louis, and in Collinsville at 1150 St. Louis Road, just blocks from the high school. Or call 345-0611, online at mikesautomotive.net and Mike's Automotive on Facebook. First National Bank of Waterloo. Visit First National Bank of Waterloo in O'Fallon for your mortgage and lending needs. Why? Super low closing costs, low construction loan rates, and they do so much to support our local communities. When you need a loan, come see Bill Metzger at First National Bank of Waterloo. Call Bill at 618-632-1010 or visit him at 104 Regency Park in O'Fallon or online fnbwaterloo.com. That's my bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Sorry about that delay there, folks. Got to grab some food whenever you can in this place. Here are your starting lineups between East St. Louis and Granite City. For East St. Louis, they will trot out the same starting five that they did yesterday when they beat Edwardsville. It'll be Jashawn Anderson, Richard Robinson, Elijah Rice, Armand Williams, and Terrence Hargrove. For Granite City, a little bit of a change from their game yesterday against Decatur MacArthur. James Grody not starting. Jerry Watson will, along with Christian Jones, Devontae Mason, Keon White, and Zidane Moore. East St. Louis Flyers are the home team in this contest. They will be dressed in their home white uniforms, trimmed in a little blue and orange. Numbers are in orange. Flyers written across the fronts of their jerseys. Granite City, they are the road team. Black uniforms, trimmed in red. Numbers are in red. And GCW, Granite City Warriors, across the fronts of their jerseys. Hargrove wins that tip-off. And we are underway in the fifth place game. Seventh place game won by Decatur MacArthur, 64-52. And here is Elijah Rice. Rice brings it over to Anderson. Anderson dribbles and bounces it back to Rice. He'll launch a three-point shot. That one's a little bit short. And the rebound is handled by Devontae Mason. Mason ditches the ball off, and a couple of tries on the rebound. No good for Granite City. Rebound belongs to East St. Louis. Hargrove comes down with it, but he is fouled before he even approaches the basket. And our first foul will be handed out to Devontae Mason. Back to action. Anderson. Around to the top of the key. Gives it up now for Rice. Back to Anderson and back to Rice. Into the corner and then back over to Rice. Rice has the ball taken out of his hands by Jerry Watson. Watson, a lead pass trying to find Devontae Mason, but that is picked off in midair by East St. Louis's Richard Robinson. Now a ball into the paint, tipped by the Flyers and picked off by Granite City, and then another blocked shot by Terrence Hargrove. Back and forth we go. Here is Anderson. Anderson over on the right wing, and trying to reach in and take that ball away was Christian Jones, and Jones will pick up a foul instead. Two quick fouls for Granite City. First one for Jones. Here is Jashawn Anderson. Anderson in the slot. 1.5 minutes into this first quarter. Anderson now back over to Hargrove. Hargrove has it on the near side sideline. Gives back to Anderson at the top of the key. Back to Hargrove. Bluffs the head fake three-point shot. Gives it back to Anderson. He dribbles, he drives, he shoots, and it can't score. Put back, no good. One more time, no. And it comes out to Hargrove. He'll tower over everybody and sink it from about 12 feet away. We finally have some scoring 2 minutes into this first quarter. 2-0 in favor of the Flyers. And now we're going to have a foul handed out to the Flyers. This one is going to go against Elijah Rice. First team foul for East St. Louis. Granite City on the move, and now they're not. Rice finds the loose rock, picks it up, and floats it in. Little fingertip roll from the left side. And it's 4-0 in favor of East St. Louis. Zane Moore gets the ball back after the inbound pass. He works his way up to the top of the key. Now moves his way over toward the right wing and the near side sideline. 5:20 left to play here in this first quarter. Here's a three-point try by Moore. No good. Rebound. That's pulled down by Armand Williams for East St. Louis. Rice underneath. Hargrove, turnaround, fadeaway shot, good. And Hargrove will go to the free throw line. Flyers up 6-0. Almost 3 minutes into this game. Granite City looking for their first score. Foul. Second one belongs to Kristen Jones. 3 on the board now for the Warriors. Hargrove. Misses. Boy, he was on fire earlier, and now he's just kind of lost that touch on the free throw line. Outlet pass comes all the way down for Devontae Mason. And Mason will then circle it and give it to Zidane Moore. Moore has it in front of the scorer's table. Trying to penetrate from the left side. Backs it back up to the free throw, mid-court line. Moore does penetrate from the left side and then throws the ball into the paint. Shot no good. Foul is good. This one is going to go against Hargrove. It'll be his first, second for the Flyers. And to the free throw line will be Kristen Jones. Warriors looking for their first point, and it'll have to come on the next shot. That's actually Jerry Watson, excuse me. 6-0 East St. Louis. And it'll stay 6-0. Ball ends up getting knocked out of bounds on the rebound try there by Freddie Edwards. And it gets knocked out of bounds. East St. Louis will inbound. Richard Robinson will do so to Jashawn Anderson. Anderson up to Hargrove. Hargrove up into the corner real quick for Williams. Turnaround shot good. 8-0 in favor of the Flyers. 4.5 minutes in, or 4.5 minutes left. Almost halfway through this first quarter. And now a step out of bounds by Devontae Mason will keep Granite City scoreless for a bit. 4:20 exactly left on the clock here in this first quarter. Granite City having a hard time scoring against this fast East St. Louis team. Fast and tall is what they are. Here comes Anderson. He'll float through the lane, and a tip in by Hargrove will give the Flyers a 10-0 lead. Here is Zidane Moore. Moore has that ball knocked out of his hands by Anderson. And now Moore will give away on the inbound pass to Freddie Edwards. Grody into the game now for Granite City as well. Needs some big bodies there to rebound against these tall East St. Louis Flyers. Here is Zidane Moore. Moore, crossover dribble in the paint, takes the pass and can't get anything on it. Bouncing ball all over the place, picked up by the Flyers. Here comes Elijah Rice. Rice will kick it off into the corner for Williams, and Williams travels. Inbound pass will come in from Freddie Edwards right underneath our broadcast location, and now we'll move down about 15 feet and do it from the other side of the basket after it was knocked out of bounds. And almost knocked out of bounds again by Hargrove, but it hits Hargrove's hand and Falls right into the hands of Devontae Mason. Mason now with it up to Grody at the top of the key. Gives to Edwards. Edwards back over to Mason. Mason over on the far side. Now to Grody outside the lane. He'll take the shot and throw it right over the rim. Terrence Hargrove takes care of the loose ball. 10-0 in favor of the Flyers. Foul. Coming up against the Flyers. Richard Robinson picks up his first, team third. Granite City with the ball, still looking for their first points. 5 minutes into this game, and Granite City has yet to score, and now we're going to have a double dribble called against Devontae Mason. Stepped out of bounds over here on the near side sideline just a minute ago, and now a double dribble over on the other side. And Granite City can't score unless they have the ball, and they're giving it back to East St. Louis too much here in this game. Here is Jashawn Anderson. Anderson fires a pass over on the far side. Here comes a three-point shot. Nothing but net there for Cornelius LaFleur. And now it's a 13-0 advantage for East St. Louis. I'm kind of shocked Granite City hasn't called a timeout yet, to tell you the truth. Here is Zidane Moore. 2:30 left to play in this first quarter. Moore, three-point shot, rattles off the left-hand side. There is Hargrove with the rebound for East St. Louis. He brings it up and pops a three-point shot himself, and that one rattles but won't fall. Rebound falls down into the hands of Jerry Watson, and then we get a timeout by Granite City. 2:15 left to play here in this opening quarter of this fifth-place game. Time to thank our hosts, the Prairie Farms folks. They welcome you to the 35th Annual Collinsville Holiday Classic, proudly sponsored by Prairie Farms Dairy. Farmer-owned since 1938, Prairie Farms, the official sponsor of this Holiday Classic, is comprised of more than 800 farm families throughout the Midwest that strive to bring quality products to your dinner table. Locally owned, locally produced, Prairie Farms. For more information, you can visit their website at prairiefarms.com. 2:15 left to play here in this opening quarter. It's all East St. Louis right now, 13-0 in favor of the Flyers. That's half the work for Zach Roseman here on the scoreboard. He only has to worry about one side right now. Inbound pass will come in from Freddie Edwards. All the way down the other way on the baseline. He'll throw it in to Mason. Mason gives it right back to where it came from, and now Edwards gets it on the wing on a long pass, and then brings it back out front for Devontae Mason, and Mason will now run the offense. Mason gives to Grody. Grody on the wing for Watson. He'll launch a three-point shot. There's Granite City's first score. Took them 6 minutes, but they're on the board, and East St. Louis now leads by 10. Here's a three-point answer, and that one right through the wickets. Cornelius LaFleur. Grody at midcourt. Gives the ball up now for Watson. Watson to Grody, top of the key. Gives it up now for Wiley. Back to Mason, back to Grody. Zidane Moore, probably their best player for Granite City in this tournament, on the bench right now. Here's Mason. From the wing to the top of the key, and then he'll back it up toward midcourt. 1:10 left to play here in this first quarter. 16-3, Flyers with the lead. Here's Mason. He'll lose control of the ball. Picked up by Anderson. Anderson for the Flyers. Off balance shot. There's the follow-up by Hargrove on the miss by Mason, and Hargrove makes him pay. Another turnover. Anderson again into the corner. Three-point shot. Rice is good. That'll prompt Coach Moore to call another timeout for Granite City. And they want a full 60-second timeout as well. So we will step aside and back in just a moment on the Kahoks Sports Network.
Cullip Jennings Florist, a Collinsville original since 1939. Cullip Jennings Florist has a wide variety of green and blooming plants, specializing in all design styles from traditional to trend-setting. Cullip Jennings Florist is, of course, your place for beautiful flowers suitable for any occasion. From anniversaries to birthdays, graduations to weddings, Cullip Jennings Florist is there for any of life's major moments. Cullip Jennings Florist, 517 West Clay Street in Collinsville. Call 344-0404 or online, cullipjennings.com.
Back here at Virgil Fletcher Gymnasium, the East St. Louis Flyers are doing just that. They're flying 21-3. Granite City having a hard time keeping up. Warriors didn't get their first points until the first 6 minutes of this first quarter had expired. So the Warriors had their work cut out for them. Not that they didn't already, but that task made even more difficult by the current run that East St. Louis is on. 21-3, 18-point lead. And Granite City will try to dig into that lead right now. Inbound pass comes into Tippett. All the way up to Moore, and then a reverse layup that does fall in for Justin Wiley. 21-5, 30 seconds left to play here in this opening quarter. Here is Anderson. Anderson brings it up the far side sideline with 20 seconds left to play here in quarter number one. Anderson and company want to play for the final shot. Freddie Edwards, wrong number 10, misses. Anderson. Jones, and finished up by Wiley. So back-to-back buckets here by Granite City. Into the corner, three-point shot, Hargrove. That misses the net and falls to the floor harmlessly. And after one quarter of play, the East St. Louis Flyers have a commanding 21-7 lead over the Granite City Warriors. We'll take a break and come back and tell you all about the second half in just a moment here on the Kahoks Sports Network.
Hi, Purple and White fans. This is Dan Mode, class of 1989. I'm with New American Funding. Myself and New American Funding are proud sponsors of Kahawk Athletics. As we have great coaches at CHS on all the courts, fields, and tracks, we like to coach you through the home buying process and refinance process. If there's ever anything we can do, I can be reached at 618-973-5343 or www.danmodeloans.com. Let's support our student athletes at CHS. They deserve the best. Thank you for your time, and go Kahawks.
Back at Virgil Fletcher Gymnasium, Championship Day. 7th place game already decided. Decatur MacArthur won that one over Edwardsville. 15th place belongs to Oakville. That means that out of the 16 teams, Hansberry Prep out of Chicago finishes in 16th place. But we kind of figured that was going to happen, and loved having them here. They were very nice, graceful, and we appreciate them making that long drive down from Chicago to fill in for Riverview Gardens after Riverview Gardens was booted from this tournament. So I know they got some valuable experience, and they'll go back to Chicago and enjoy the new year, having lost all 4 games they played here. Flyers up 21-9, and a three-point shot coming that misses the mark from Cornelius LaFleur, and the rebound, Hargrove with an exclamation point, makes it 23-9. We're underway here in quarter number 2. Granite City all the way back out front. It is Christian Jones. Jones has it back at the midcourt stripe, and a bounce pass into Grody. And then Grody then gives it up for Wiley, and underneath, Grody gets it back and takes it off the glass for 2. Warriors are into double digits, 23-11. They trail by 12 points, however, as Anderson brings the ball up for the Flyers. LaFleur, Hargrove has that ball blocked out by Grody. It's picked up by Wiley. Wiley then lost the handle on it, but trying to chase the ball down. East St. Louis was the last one to touch it. Moore inbounds, three-point shot on the way and through for Christian Jones. 23-14, East St. Louis with the lead. Here comes Anderson. Anderson Has it toward midcourt. Brings it up on the right wing, now into the paint, takes the shot, and a foul coming up against Kristen Jones. That'll be the 5th foul for the Warriors. That'll be the 3rd on Kristen Jones. At the free throw line, Anderson misses the first one. Oliveria and Williams check back into the game for East St. Louis. Anderson at the free throw line, ready for one more. This one is good. 24-14, 10-point lead for the Flyers. Granite City bringing the ball back up. Here is Zidane Moore. Moore gets the ball over to Mason. Back to Moore and back to Mason. They'll play catch across the timeline. Moore will then dribble. All the way back out to midcourt. Into the corner it goes for Watson. He'll drive and he'll score. 24-16. Granite City's making a little bit of a comeback here. Out front for Anderson. Anderson dribbles, turns around, gives to Hargrove. Hargrove back out front to Anderson. Over here, now back into the paint. Kick back out. Oliveria gives it up. Williams takes a shot. No good. And a whistle. Armand Williams guilty of that foul. Now the Flyers have 4. That's the first for Williams. Comes with 5:20 left to play here in this first quarter. And now Granite City trying to dig into this lead just a little bit more. Here come the Flyers. Anderson flies through the lane, reverse layup, rolls across the rim, can't get it to go. Rebound comes all the way out front to Hargrove. He'll pop one from in front of the free throw line, can't get it to fall. Grody pulls down the rebound for Granite City. And Coach Moore wants him to slow down. He calls out a play, and the Warriors come up to execute. There is Watson. Watson will leave it out front now for Mason. Mason bounces a pass to Grody, who gives to Moore. Zidane Moore comes in from the right wing, now over to the left wing. That is where they have Wiley. Wiley then gives the ball up to Mason. Around the horn it goes. Ends up back to Wiley and a dribble drive and the ball loose. Zidane Moore, three-point shot. Too hard, rolls across the rim. Grody is there to put it back. And the Warriors all of a sudden are back to within 6 points here in this game. Halfway through quarter number 2. 24-18, Flyers have the lead. Anderson with the ball. He'll dribble, he'll drive, he'll turn the ball over. And then he will foul Justin Wiley as Wiley tried to go up court with it. That'll be his first. Each team now has 5 fouls. 3:41 left to play here in this second quarter. 24-18, Flyers have the lead. Warriors didn't score their first points until there were 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. What was it at halftime? 21-3 at halftime. And so far, East St. Louis has only managed to score 3 points here in this second quarter. Out, Grody, shot, short. Hargrove, rebound. East St. Louis brings it back up. And all the way down, tries to slam it, but slammed it off the front of the rim. Into the corner, brought out by Rice. Now back into this corner, and then Rice gets it back in the lane, takes the shot. Grody is going to get called for a foul. Hargrove with a mad slam dunk try right off the front of the rim. Almost like a springboard. Rice at the free throw line. First shot, no good. Elijah Rice went 2 for 2 from the free throw line yesterday against Edwardsville and misses his first one. Consolation championship coming up next. That's between Quincy and Belleville East. That'll be at the conclusion of this game here between the Flyers and the Granite City Warriors. Next one in for Rice, 25-18. Flyers still maintain a lead. Wiley moves the ball up, and a streaking Mason takes it to the basket. No good. He'll get his own rebound. Back to the top of the key. Moore flies, drives, and does not score. Rice of the Flyers will pick up his second foul. Each team now at 6. Zidane Moore at the free throw line. Moore went 12 for 13 from the free throw line against the Generals yesterday and hits the first one here. Once again, his team to within 6. Could be 5 after this shot by Moore. Moore ready, and that one's through as well. 25-20. Wouldn't have thought that about 10 minutes ago. Bringing the ball up court for East St. Louis is Oliveria. He gets it to Hargrove. Oliveria back to Hargrove. Hargrove on the left wing. Gets the ball on a bounce pass back out to Oliveria. Now over to Travion Jones. Oliveria with it, and a cross-court pass. He just throws it away. Threw it right into the Granite City bench, and the Warriors have a chance to get to within 3 or maybe even 2. We're going to have a timeout called by East St. Louis. That'll give us a chance to thank some more of our sponsors. How about Pace Design and Construction in Maryville? Whether building a new home, making an addition to the home you currently own, or finally getting around to that remodeling job you've been putting off, Pace Design and Construction in Maryville can help. Pace Design and Construction is a building and remodeling contractor that you can trust. Why? Well, they provide the highest quality, they are dedicated to their customers, and they're committed to completing your project on time and within budget. Pace Design and Construction in Maryville. Give them a call, 618-407-5466, or online at pacedesignconstruct.com. Decatur Eisenhower and Madison have the 1:30 game over in the auxiliary gym. As soon as we get any score from there, we will, of course, pass that along to you. Here is Zidane Moore. Moore works the ball up for Granite City. Warriors only trail by 5 now. Over into the far corner, that's Mason. Back out to the top of the key for Grody. On this side now for Moore. Moore back out to Grody. Over into the corner. A dribble and a drive by Wiley, and that's stuffed right back down to where it came from by Richard Robinson for East St. Louis. Now here comes Anderson. His shot too hard, and the rebound is knocked out of bounds. East St. Louis having a hard time here in the second quarter, unlike their flying around style in that first quarter. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Here is Zidane Moore. Moore works the ball up. Gets to Grody. Grody to Wiley. That's Mason. Now Moore. Front of the Flyers bench. Up underneath and then back out to Moore. Thought maybe for a minute Watson traveled. Here is Mason to Grody to Wiley. Back out front. Watson. 1:15 to play. Oh, Watson lost control of the ball off of his foot, and it rolled all the way into the far corner, and no one could get there before it finally hit the purple line. Golden opportunity for the Warriors to get it to within a one-possession game. Here's Jashawn Anderson. Anderson Around to the right wing, now top of the key. A bounce pass here into the corner for Baskin. Back out front, Baskin. He can't take the shot because he's fouled. No, jump ball they're going to call. Possession arrow remains in favor of East St. Louis. Flyers will inbound underneath of their own basket. And it's knocked right up back out of bounds by Moore. And we'll do it all over again. This time we'll do it from the right side of the backboard. All the way out front. That ball goes to Robinson. Robinson will give it back up to Anderson. 45 seconds to play here in this first half. Anderson wants to drive. He dumps it off to no one. Another turnover for the Flyers. And now another opportunity here for Granite City to get this back to within a one-possession game. 40.7 seconds left. We'll see if Granite City wants to try to play for the final basket here in this first half as they work the ball up court. Wiley gives it up for Zidane Moore. Moore will cross the timeline with 30 seconds left here in this first half. He'll head toward the scorer's table. He'll stand there for a minute. Not actually a minute, a few seconds. And give up to Wiley. Wiley gives it up now for Mason. Out front, Wiley with it once again. Down to 10 seconds. Here's Zidane Moore. He'll dribble, he'll drive in the paint, he'll kick it back out, corner, three-point shot, yes! Jerry Watson gets his team to within two. Anderson at the buzzer, no good. At the end of one half of play, 25-23 in favor of the East St. Louis Flyers, as Granite City has climbed all the way back to within two after a dismal performance in the first half. Second half action will be coming your way here in just a moment, and we'll take a break and come back and bring you some first half stats. We'll do that in just a moment here on the Kahoks Sports Network.
Lakeside Roofing in Collinsville. Let the professionals at Lakeside Roofing protect your most important investment, your home or business. Have the elements taken a toll on your roof system? Notice a leaking roof? Maybe it's time for a free roof inspection. Regular maintenance can extend the life of your roofing system by 10 years or more. Lakeside Roofing is your winning team for commercial and residential roofing systems. Lakeside All-Star professionals have installed, repaired, and maintained hundreds of roofs on both sides of the river. Call Lakeside Roofing today, 618-344-2800, or on the Missouri side, 314-241-5253, or online, lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience, choose Lakeside.
I'm a hot babe out jogging. I'm out making sure this stays a 10 when you drive by. You're checking out my awesome headband when... Oops. That's when you find out your cut rate insurance, it ain't paying for this. So get Allstate. Save cash and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands? Call me, Mike Cluck with Allstate, for a quote today.
Back here at Virgil Fletcher Gymnasium, we are at halftime, 25-23 in favor of the Flyers. And here is a look at your first half stats. It was 21-7 after one quarter of play. Granite City was trailing by 14 points, but then they came back and outscored East St. Louis in that second quarter, 16-4, and that's why we now have a 2-point game. Leading scorer in this one is Terrence Hargrove with 6 points. Behind him, Armand Williams with 3 for the Flyers, 2 each for Baskin and Oliveria, as well as Robinson, and then Anderson and Rice. Oh, that's rebounds. Yeah, I am. You're right. Terrence Hargrove, 10 points. There we go. I'm in the right category now. 10 points for Hargrove, 6 points for Rice, and Cornelius LaFleur, 2 points for Armand Williams, and Jashawn Anderson has 1 point. Leading scorer for Granite City is Jerry Watson with 8. 5 points belongs to Christian Jones, 4 each for Grody and Wiley, and then 2 for Zidane Moore. From the lines, Granite City 3 of 7 from beyond the three-point stripe, while East St. Louis is 3 of 9 from the free throw line, just as close. Granite City 2 of 4, while the Flyers are 2 of 5, and the rebound battle being won by East St. Louis 17-13. Granite City has turned the ball over 8 times compared to 7 for East St. Louis, and each team has 2 blocked shots apiece. That's a look at your first half stats. We'll have second half action coming up here in just a little bit on the K-Hawk Sports Network.
Mike's Automotive in Collinsville. Mike's Automotive is a T3 certified tire center, and they can handle all of the basics, like oil changes and tune-ups, and the not-so-basic stuff, like complete engine rebuilds. Mike's Automotive also has 24-hour towing and has 3 locations: Millstadt, St. Louis, and in Collinsville at 1150 St. Louis Road, just blocks from the high school. Or call 345-0611, online at mikesautomotive.net and Mike's Automotive on Facebook. Lakeside Roofing in Collinsville. Let the professionals at Lakeside Roofing protect your most important investment, your home or business. Have the elements taken a toll on your roof system? Notice a leaking roof? Maybe it's time for a free roof inspection. Regular maintenance can extend the life of your roofing system by 10 years or more. Lakeside Roofing is your winning team for commercial and residential roofing systems. Lakeside All-Star professionals have installed, repaired, and maintained hundreds of roofs on both sides of the river. Call Lakeside Roofing today, 618-344-2800, or on the Missouri side, 314-241-5253, or online, lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience, choose Lakeside.
Back here at Virgil Fletcher Gymnasium, Todd Duke and Zach Roseman along with you. Just about ready for second half action in this fifth place game between East St. Louis and Granite City. We have a good one. Didn't think it was going to be that way at first. East St. Louis jumped out to a 21-7 lead at the end of one quarter of play, a quarter that saw Granite City not score their first points until there were 2 minutes left to go in the quarter. Granite City figured things out, though, once the second quarter started, and they outscored East St. Louis 16-4. That's why we have a 2-point game now, 25-23, and the Flyers will get the ball to start off this second half. Wiley inbounds into the backcourt to Zidane Moore, and we are underway in half number 2. Consolation Championship coming up next between Quincy and Belleville East. Right after this one, then we'll have our dinner break before the third place game in the championship game. Here is Grody, and right off the bat, we're tied, 25-25. Here is Anderson for East St. Louis. He brings the ball up over onto the left wing. Top of the key for Richard Robinson. Back out front for Anderson. Over to Hargrove. Hargrove into the paint now. Rice turns around, takes a shot too hard off of the other side of the glass. Rebound. That belongs to Jerry Watson, and Granite City couldn't contain it, and we'll turn it back over. Just 49 seconds into this quarter. We're tied, 25-25. Flyers, chance to come back down and retake the lead. Here is Anderson. Anderson over on the far side to Rice, into Hargrove. Hargrove spins, shot, no good, but he'll tip it back in. And East St. Louis back out front, 27-25. And quickly, Granite City comes down, and Wiley gets those 2 points right back. Here's Rice. Back to Hargrove. Hargrove comes in from the left wing, stops just outside the lane, and gives the ball up. And a shot. No good for LaFleur. All the way down. Wiley again. And Granite City has their first lead in this game. 29-27. 6.5 minutes left to play here in this third quarter. Granite City has come all the way back from a 21-7 deficit and now lead 29-27. Wiley at the free throw line to try to make it a 3-point game. Wiley can't do it. His first trip to the free throw lines ends up in a 0 for 1. Oh, I don't even know what that was. That one almost ended up on top of the backboard. Whistle right after Robinson tried to put it back up, and Robinson will head to the free throw line. Wiley guilty of the foul. Nope, they're going to give it to Grody, excuse me. Grody guilty of his second. Each team now with 1. And Robinson at the free throw line will hit his first one. Did not make it to the line in the first half, so 1 for 1 now for Robinson. Robinson ready with the next. And it's through. Flyers come back to tie it up, 29-29. Inbound pass comes in. Moore gets it back, almost throws it away. Had a lot of zip on it, but gets it into Jerry Watson, who finds Grody, who was trying to find Wiley, but he threw it to Anderson instead, and Anderson comes in with another acrobatic circus shot. Still won't work, and Wiley pulls down the rebound for Granite City. Here is Zidane Moore. Moore slows things down, takes it back to the midcourt stripe, and now back at center court to Grody. Over here for Moore. Moore back to Grody, top of the key. Grody over to Wiley. Wiley back to Grody just outside the lane and off of the head of Richard Robinson and out of bounds. (29-29). 5:36 left to play here in this third quarter. Inbound pass comes into Grody. He'll kick it back outside and Tippett bluffs on the three-point shot. Next shot off the rim. Hargrove there with the rebound for Granite City, or excuse me, East St. Louis. And a nice job waiting patiently for Travion Jones down at the other end. Will give the Flyers back their lead at 31-29. Moore will work the ball up to Watson. Watson across the way to Tippett. Tippett, oh, thought he was going to jump up there and put up a shot. Instead, he goes back out front to Grody. Here's a three-point shot that's blocked by Richards Robinson. And a bounce pass all the way up. Hargrove, baseline, shot. Rolls across the rim, no good. But Hargrove will head to the free throw line. Hargrove was 0 for 1 in that first half from the free throw line. Grody picks up his third foul. Hargrove at the free throw line, hits his first one. (32-29), Flyers with the lead. Hargrove trying to add to it. And that one rattles, won't fall. Rebound, put back up, and it will not fall in. Another foul coming for Granite City, and that one will send Travion Jones to the free throw line. Here is a swoop out shot by Travion Jones. At the free throw line. Travion Jones, his first trip up there here in this game. He hit that one. Rebound belongs to Granite City. Warriors once again trailing by 3. They get the ball up to Tippett. Tippett cuts across the way and gives it up in the paint. And a travel. Travel by Keon White. That will put the ball back into the hands of the Flyers. 4:40 left to play here in this third quarter. Ball comes up to Jones. Jones over to Rice. Rice to Oliveria. To Hargrove. Hargrove caught in the corner, trying to get out. He does so. Oliveria takes the pass, cross the court. A Anderson three-pointer rolls across the rim, and both Flyers go up for it and come down with it, but we're going to have a foul away from the play. Hargrove will pick up his second and the second team foul. Warriors have 3 up there on the board. Here's Tippett. Into the corner for White. He drives baseline. Can't get the shot off, and now we're going to have a blocking foul called. This one is going to go against Richard Robinson. He'll pick up his second, and now each team has 3. Inbound pass comes all the way out front to Tippett. Tippett over on the far side for Jones. Back out front we go for Mason. Mason to White. White back to Jones, and a pass over here in the corner, and around the horn will go. Tippett with it, but not anymore. Coming up with the ball was Travion Jones, and then Tippett trips him right after that pickup, and Tippett will pick up his first, team 4th. Moore is going to come back in for Wiley for Granite City as we wait the inbound pass from Travion Jones to Jashawn Anderson for the Flyers. Anderson collects the ball in the backcourt, brings himself forward. Cuts across the top of the key and into the paint with an underhand fingertip roll. 34-29. 5-point lead now for the Flyers, and a picked off pass. Richardson, baseline, no shot. Referee says no. Foul is going to come up against Christian Jones. And for Christian Jones, that's his 4th foul, so he goes to the bench. Inbound pass comes into Hargrove. He'll send it out to Richardson. Across the way to Olivaria, now to Anderson. Anderson will dribble and drive. Baseline, can't get the shot off. And the loose ball finds Hargrove inside of the rim. No good, but the putback is by Richardson. Robinson. His first name is Richard. I keep on wanting to say that as his last name. Here's Granite City. They bring the ball up. 3 minutes to go here in quarter number 3. Watson with the ball for the Warriors. Looking to make his move. He does, and that's partially blocked by Hargrove. And then Hargrove gets the outlet pass. He'll cut through the paint, and he will take a shot. No good, but he'll head to the line for a couple of free throws. Zidane Moore will pick up his 2nd foul. 6th team foul now for the Warriors. That's when they might find themselves in trouble, putting all these Flyers at the free throw line for the rest of this quarter and all of the 4th. Hargrove, I tell you what, since he went 9 for 9 yesterday, he has really struggled from the free throw line. Starting with that miss that ended up sending that game into overtime against Rockford East, a game which East St. Louis eventually lost. Since then, Hargrove has gone 50% from the free throw line. Missed the first one here. Next one is through. Moore out to Grody. Grody back to Moore. Almost into the backcourt, but it would have been tipped anyway. For Granite City, this is Mason. Mason gets it to Wiley. Wiley has to deal with Hargrove in front of his face, gives it up to Grody. And now Mason over on the far side, brings it into the paint, takes the shot, high off the glass, won't go. Grody with the putback. Been a while since Granite City has scored a point. They're back to within 6 are the Warriors, 37-31. East St. Louis with the lead. 2:05 left to play here in this 3rd quarter. Into the corner it goes for East St. Louis. That's Jones. Ball tipped, comes back out. Here is Wiley. Gets it up to Watson. Watson splits the defense, but runs when he does so. They're going to call a foul before they call the traveling call. Robinson will pick up his 3rd foul, and he will head to the bench. Armand Williams will take his place. Watson, his free throw misses. Granite City, as a team, went 2 for 4 from the free throw line in the first half. And Watson goes 50% from the free throw line on that particular try. 5-point lead for the Flyers. Minute 45 left to play here in this 3rd quarter. Here is Olivaria. Across the way it goes to Anderson. Anderson stops at the free throw line. Back to Olivaria. A touch bounce pass and a nice move in the lane by Travion Jones. 7-point lead back for the Flyers. 90 seconds to go here in this 3rd quarter. Mason with it for Granite City. Has it poked away by Anderson. Anderson picks it up, takes it in for an easy right side layup. And it's now a 9-point game. Flyers back in front. Here come the Warriors. It's Zidane Moore. Into the paint. He'll take it all the way. Off the glass. Good for 2. 1 minute to go here in this 3rd quarter. Anderson brings it up for East St. Louis. To Hargrove in the paint. Hey, looked like to me Grody got all ball. Grody picks up his 4th foul, so he will go to the bench. Hargrove back at the free throw line, shooting 2. He just went 1 for 1 from the free throw line. And the first shot good. 10-point game. Here is Zidane Moore. 40 seconds left to play here in this third quarter, and another steal. This one by Jones. He gets it to Anderson, and Anderson with the right arm layup. Good for two. 12-point lead now for East St. Louis. Very reminiscent of the first quarter here. 9 points so far only scored here for Granite City in this quarter. Moore trying for three. Off the glass, good. I thought that was going to be wide to the right. That ends up going off the glass and right through the hoop. 46-37, and a foul coming up against Watson. That'll be his first. Team 8th, and Jashawn Anderson at the free throw line. Went 1 for 2 from the charity stripe in the first half. 5.8 seconds left to play here in this third quarter. Good for Anderson on the first one. Back to a 10-point lead for the Flyers. Next one for Anderson, and that one will not go through, but the rebound is put back up and in by Jones. That is the end of the third quarter. And Granite City and their comeback effort was very valiant in the second quarter when they brought it back to within a 2-point game, but the Flyers have poured it on in the third and now have a 12-point lead. 49-37. Flyers in front, and we'll take a break and come back and tell you all about the fourth quarter in just a moment here on the Kahoks Sports Network.
Sloan's Pub House in Collinsville. Sloan's Pub House is now into their second year of operation on Main Street in Uptown Collinsville. Sloan's Pub House offers daily lunch and dinner specials that feature homemade pizza, burgers, sandwiches, salads, and more. Sloan's Pub House offers a great variety of craft libations for you adults, as well as a great brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. Sloan's Pub House, 119 West Main Street in Collinsville. Call 855-9100 or online, sloanspubhouse.com. Mike's Automotive in Collinsville. Mike's Automotive is a T3 certified tire center, and they can handle all of the basics, like oil changes and tune-ups, and the not-so-basic stuff like complete engine rebuilds. Mike's Automotive also has 24-hour towing and has 3 locations: Millstadt, St. Louis, and in Collinsville at 1150 St. Louis Road, just blocks from the high school. Or call 345-0611, online at mikesautomotive.net and Mike's Automotive on Facebook.
Back here at Virgil Fletcher Gymnasium, Todd Duke and Zach Roseman with you. Fourth quarter action underway. 3-point shot right off the bat for Travion Jones for the Flyers, and now Granite City will turn the ball over, and Jones heads back the other way, all the way, and shot won't go. Grody there with the rebound. He's out there with his 4 fouls. 52-37, just like that for East St. Louis. Up to Wiley, who gets it to Zidane Moore. Zidane moves on up into the paint from the free throw line. Hits it. Here is Oliveria for East St. Louis across the way, and now a bounce pass underneath. Williams turns around, takes a shot, can't get it to go. Rebound effort still no good. This time the rebound pulled down by Watson for Granite City. He'll throw it up to Zidane Moore. Moore will put it in the paint and get back-to-back points from there. 52-41, 11-point lead for East St. Louis. Minute 15 into this fourth quarter. Consolation Championship coming up next. That's between Quincy and Belleville East. Decatur, Eisenhower, and Madison over in the auxiliary gym tangling up right now. We'll see if we can find a score going on from the auxiliary gym. Meanwhile, a timeout on the floor will give us a chance to thank some more of our sponsors. How about my good friend Peyton Blaylock. If you're looking to buy a new home or sell your current one, you can trust the Blaylock team of RE/MAX Alliance with all of your real estate needs. If you buy or sell with the Blaylocks, they will donate $200 to your favorite Kahawk Booster Club. You can call Peyton or Emily Blaylock today, 618-780-4622, or online, www.blaylockteam.com. 46-35, Decatur Eisenhower leading Madison in the third quarter in the auxiliary gym. Here it's 52-41. 11-point lead belongs to East St. Louis. Here is Trevion Jones, who's having himself quite the second half. Out front to Anderson. Anderson across the way, back to Jones. Jones all the way back this side, and a three-point shot that rolls across the rim, off of the hands of the floor. Fought for on the rebound, and Freddie Edwards gets his hand on it, and then a foul is called. Trevion Jones picks up his first personal foul. It is the 5th team foul for the Flyers. Warriors have 8. And that could have a say-so what happens here in the waning moments of this fourth quarter. Here is Zidane Moore. One-arm pass to Edwards. Over on the far side, Tippett. Now back out front for Watson. Back over here to Moore. Three-point shot. Oh, that one rattles. Moore couldn't get it to fall. He really wanted that one. Here is Anderson. Working it up inside. Robinson back out front for Anderson. He'll looked like he carried that ball for like 5 steps. Myself and Zach Roseman can see that from the balcony, but the guys down on the floor couldn't see it, right? Hargrove. Reverse layup. And here comes Zidane Moore. Moore will put a shot up in the paint again, and that's his 3rd one from the paint. Couldn't hit the three-pointer on the other end, and back and forth we go. Real quick shot, and a score there by LaFleur. 59-43, Flyers have the lead. 5 minutes left to play here in this 5th-place game. Here is Watson, a bounce pass up underneath and off the glass for 2. Devontae Mason. $14-point lead for the Flyers. Anderson lost control of the ball for a minute, and then he is mugged on his way up to the basket. And we're going to have a foul coming up against Zidane Moore. Back to the free throw line, Jashawn Anderson. Anderson's shot on the way and through. (60-45), East St. Louis up. Anderson ready with the next, and it is through as well. Consolation Championship scheduled to get underway here in about 14 minutes. That's going to be a little bit behind schedule as we continue this game. And a whistle down at the other end on a shot attempt by Jashawn Anderson, and Anderson's going to go right back to the free throw line. And that's going to be another foul against Zidane Moore. That'll be his 4th, and that is the team's 10th for Granite City. So Flyers shooting 2 from here on out. Anderson bends at the knees one more time, and the first one's through. 62-45. Flyers with the lead. Next shot from Anderson. On the way. He makes both. 18-point lead now for the Flyers. Here comes Freddie Edwards. Dumps it off into the corner for Wiley. Wiley to Watson. And Watson will back it up and give it to Mason. Back to Grody. Grody. Dribbles, drives. Puts on a nice move for a big guy and gets around Richard Robinson, but he couldn't finish up, could Grody. Here is Anderson the other way, and he's totally mugged in the middle of that lane, but probably also could have been called for another travel. Grody fouls out. Fouls out with 8 points. So Christian Jones will come and check back in for Grody. His holiday tournament is over. Back at the free throw line, none other than Jashawn Anderson. He's pitched a tent at the free throw line. He's camping out there. And not doing too bad from the free throw line either. Next one on the way. Also through. Let's find out. (64-45). Here's a rebound by Hargrove. Where was it? 5 of 8 for Anderson at the free throw line up to this point. Robinson gets called for a foul. That'll be the 6th team foul. That'll be his 4th. And at the free throw line will be Devontae Mason. Halfway through quarter number 4. Mason makes it. Still an 18-point lead for the Flyers, though. Back at the free throw line. Devontae Mason hits both. 64-47. Flyers have the lead, looking to capture the 5th place trophy here at this tournament. Oh, cross-court pass. That was a beautiful pass. Caught right off of the shoelaces. And LaFleur then turns it into 3. Here is Edwards. He'll dribble and drive, pull up at the free throw line, give to Mason on the other side. Good. And a half to go here in this 4th quarter. 20-point lead for the Flyers. Excuse me, that just went down to a 17-point lead, 67-50. Christian Jones will foul out of this game as well. Hargrove at the free throw line. Hargrove. And no good. Brian Hines, sophomore player for Granite City, comes in as the Warriors have 2 players on the bench after they have fouled out. So Brian Hines will see a little bit of action here in this Prairie Farms tournament. Here's Watson. Watson gives the ball to Edwards. Edwards gives it up for Mason. Hines got his hands on the ball for the first time in this tournament. Just a brief moment. And now it is Hines again. Back over to Watson. Watson to Edwards. Edwards on this side for Marlon Baker. Baker also into the game for the first time. Hines puts on a good move. Off the glass, couldn't get it to fall, but there is Baker with the rebound. Baker and Hines seen some action here in this tournament. Baker, a junior. As we are down to 2:25 to play, and LaFleur with another big 3-point shot from the deep right wing. Makes it 71-52. Watson brings it up for the Warriors. Edwards, top of the key, dribbles and drives and takes it off the fingertips. In for 2 more. Flyers bring it up. Oliveria bounces it to LaFleur, and another three-point shot. That one skips across the rim and will go out of bounds before anyone could get there. 1:53 left to play here in this fourth quarter. 71-54 in favor of East St. Louis. Here comes Watson. Across the timeline. Throws a pass into the corner, but that had too much juice on it and skipped right off the corner. Out of bounds. Pass that was intended for Tippett. Into the corner it goes, and another three-point try. That one misses the mark for Oliveria. And the putback effort is good. 90 seconds left to play here in this fourth quarter. And another turnover by Granite City. Easy bucket there for Elijah Rice. And that makes it 75-54, a 21-point lead for the Flyers. And another turnover. Hargrove takes it in to make it 77-54. And now Granite City would like to call a timeout. 30-second timeout. That'll give us a chance to thank some more of our sponsors. How about the City of Collinsville? You can check out the City of Collinsville's Facebook page for information on upcoming events in and around the Collinsville area. Any events you can check on Facebook, type in the City of Collinsville, and they'll have a list there for you to look at. And as always, the City of Collinsville is a proud supporter of the Collinsville Unit 10 School District, and they wish all district athletes good luck this sports season. .109 left to play here in this fourth quarter, 77-54. East St. Louis well on their way to capturing that fifth place trophy. I know it's not the trophy that they wanted when this tournament first started. And that's the way that things kind of shake out here. Another whistle will stop the action. East St. Louis won their first game over Althoff 78-49. Lost in overtime in the quarterfinal game to Rockford East 69-63. Flyers then beat Edwardsville in the fifth place semifinal game 57-49 to put them here in the fifth place game against Granite City. Granite City won their first game of this tournament 56-47 over Belleville East before losing to Lincoln in the quarterfinals 52-47. That pit the Granite City Warriors against Decatur MacArthur, and Granite City won that game 66-62 last night. Last game of the night last night. And that is why Granite City is in this fifth place game. .109 left to play here in this fourth quarter. Inbound pass coming from underneath of the East St. Louis basket by Freddie Edwards. All the way down the court. Picked up by Baker. And then knocked out of bounds. So Freddie Edwards will do it all over again. This time he'll inbound from in front of his own bench. Out to Baker. On this side for Tippett. Tippett, top of the key. Pulls up, takes a shot. Too hard. Rebound belongs to the Flyers. They bring it up. Here is LaFleur. Oh, an alley-oop try on the other end. A good try there by Granite City. And here is a put-back effort, and there you go. Brian Hines is on the scorecard for this fifth place game here. And now East St. Louis down to the final 30 seconds, up by 21 points. Into the corner it goes. Back out to LaFleur on the wing. LaFleur. And the Flyers will play catch for a little bit. 3-point shot taken. I'm really not sure if that's what their head coach wanted to have happen. But here comes Edwards underneath the basket and off the glass for 2. And Marlon Baker is on the score sheet for 2 points. That's going to do it, though. 77-58. Final score. East St. Louis captures 5th place here at the 35th Annual Prairie Farms Holiday Classic. And that means the Granite City Warriors will finish in 6th place. We will step aside, reset everything, and get you ready for the consolation championship game that's getting ready to come up here between Quincy and Belleville East. So we will step aside here for just a little bit. When we come back, we'll have the consolation championship on the Kahoks Sports Network.